the meeting of the Central Vermont Career Center Board for October 7th, 2025 to order. We'll have a call to order. Do we have any guests that need recognition? Right. Comments, public comments about items that are not on the agenda, which would be anyone who has anything to say that has not been scheduled for us to discuss tonight. We did have a good project forum, so we'll leave that as our message for tonight. But if there's anything else, programmatic, curriculum, staffing that anyone would like to mention, this is your time. Hearing none, we will ask, has anyone we've had some correspondence from various individuals. The board and the superintendent have had comments from individuals, and all of those have been received and will be responded to. The consent agenda, we have the minutes from the September 8th, 2025 meeting. If everyone has reviewed those, are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? If not, I need a motion to approve those minutes, please. So moved by Jana, second by Patrick. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries. Moving to item 6, board reports. Our student report is
we did have a student who signed up and was invited, and it looks like she is not on right now. So next time.
That's right. We will move forward. Students have a lot of things that they do in the evenings and afternoons, so we take that into consideration. Program presentation is automotive. So Mr. McKinstry is with us online, and we'll open the floor to talking about cars.
Thanks for hanging in there,
folks. Of course, that was very entertaining. It was nice. I think we're running a little over, so I'm happy to make this quick for folks. Is there anything that folks want to know?
What is it that you do?
Oh, cars. You already said it. We're good, right? Okay. So no, fantastic. Okay, so let me give you a little spiel. So I am taking students that either come in with a ton of knowledge for cars or have no knowledge whatsoever and everywhere in between. My main goal is to get students comfortable in an entry-level shop position. And I also caveat that a lot with students of, you're going to own a vehicle your entire life. If you're going to live in Vermont, there's no public transportation that's reliable and get you places you need to go. If anything, I'm going to teach you how to take care of yourself, be confident with your vehicle, and just learn some basic skills. I talk a lot of students that if you learn to work on the basics of cars, you can take your job anywhere in the world you want to go, because cars are relatively universal. If you want to move out of state, there's cars that get worked on out of state just like they do in Vermont. So it's a very transferable job skill. And it's also a job you can get part-time if you're looking to do something different. I talk a lot of students fitting in local dealerships as well. So we have a major partnership with 802 Cars. So about half of our Subaru dealership at the Hill is full of alumni from my program. And then we like to sprinkle a little bit throughout all the other programs. All the other dealerships around here. We have a little bit of local influence as well. A majority of my students do go from me to a dealership just for that additional training. And then most kind of after a few years at a dealership transition into a local shop where their experience helps a little bit better. As far as this year, a couple changes, a couple new things. We have partnered with White Mountain Community College for a 3 college credit. That agreement went in place beginning of this year. It is my first year doing it. They were incredibly easy to work with. So we are implementing that this year. Couple enrollment numbers: 16 students, 2 co-op students. My 2 co-op students right now are 802 Subaru and McGee Ford. So there's a new partnership we performed this year with McGee. We work on everything from introduction to tools, introduction to safety, all the way through like engine performance, and then into like alternative fuels, hybrid systems, electric cars. The challenge I'm running into when it comes to the alternative fuels is just resources. Actually obtaining an electric car is proving incredibly difficult.
So could you tell us a little bit about where the students go? You talked about dealerships, you talked about maintaining their own cars. What's the future for a student who graduates from the automotive program here?
Yeah, so I kind of have a mix of some. So I do have some that move on to college. I have had some students that are using this to just obtain a part-time job skills. A majority of the students do either run from me to another program. I do carry a lot of juniors through my program. And then majority of do actually, if they are looking to maintain the industry, they do move on to majority of the local dealerships. Very seldomly have I had students moving out of state to work. I would say if I could think, I probably have maybe 5 or 6 that moved on from me all to an alternative college outside of state. A majority of them have known to return. So that is helpful, at least for the retention of students, I guess.
Steve, that's what, 11 years?
Yeah, 11th year this year.
And they have the access to the college credits, the 3 from White Mountain Community College, but you also, what is their tier 2 credentials?
Yeah, so we offer, so the minimum requirement is 2 tier 2s. So we offer our kind of program standard is what's called mechanical light duty repair, and that's through our automotive service and excellence program, so ASE. That is a very like introductory certification, so it's kind of a mix of everything, and we usually finish that by the first semester. So that's kind of our first checklist of that. For there, the students are they're allowed to choose kind of the next ASE that they will be taking. Last year, for example, I had students that obtained 3 additional after that introduction or after that requirement. They wanted to take more, we just simply ran out of school year. Just ran out of time for testing. And then I also do a TIA, so Tire Industry Association, basic tire certification. So it's an online certification with a sign-off handpiece from myself. So it's actually a required lab that the industry makes you do. I sign off on it, and they'll end up with those certifications for the tier 2s.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board? Patrick?
Steve, where do you get your cars that you have the students learn on?
A majority of the stuff it's actually been donated from the community. For folks that don't know me in live person, I'm a little bit of a character. People kind of remember when stuff is kind of needed or stuff. I make an impression on people is a good way of saying it. So I actually get reached out a lot through the years of, hey, I got a car, it's not really going to pass inspection. I don't think I'm going to get much money for it selling it. Do you want it? And the nice thing is, like with Jody, Michelle, and I, we've worked out a really helpful like tax write-off letter for them. So they're getting pretty decent value, I guess I should say. And we're also kind of reaping a pretty decent reward. I say the hardest part of that is very seldomly are newer cars reaching it's not passing inspection. My newest vehicle right now is a 2013. We've I believe our last budget meeting, we're attempting to get some type of budget fund to purchase cars for like our like for my inventory. The toughest thing I've ran into is buying cars is just a strange process. A lot of times it's just, hey, here's cash, like I have money ready to go. And that's just it's been a weird, like, I remember the three of us sitting down our last budget meeting, and it's just a strange scenario that we're in, because I need to buy like 4 or 5 cars. And the way that we purchase things through the school is just, it's a unique situation that, you know, I'm not, hey, Amazon, do you mind? I need 3 cars. Do you mind sending them down? Here's our prepaid stuff. Here's all of our information. I've been attempting to work with, so we do 802 car partnership. They have a couple wholesale managers that my advisory board, they're on my advisory board, a couple of general managers that it's been in our talks. It's just a tough time that, hey, I'll reserve these 3 cars for you. You'll buy it eventually. It's been a really strange, hard process that actually is not just a me level. We actually just got done running our tech meetings. So those are like the statewide meetings that we run. So all of the automotive teachers, the airplane guys, the body people, the diesel people, we're all together. And we're actually trying to figure out how to like create a statewide advisory board, something that has a little bit more pull and a little bit more voice when it comes to like manufacturers. Hey, Ford, Vermont needs 20 brand new F-150s for students to work on and learn new technology on. Speaks a lot bigger than, hey, Steve needs a truck to work on McGee Ford. Do you mind like working something out for me? Right. It's a very tough, you know, car sales are tough. The art gets weird. We do what we can, you know, I'm lucky with having the staff that I do sometimes and the amount of trust that I get sometimes. And like, hey, this is my only way of work, but here, feel free to like throw some brakes on it for me.
Yeah. Are you sure it's not going to void my warranty?
yeah. Don't worry. Just keep your paperwork. We're good. So yeah, it's been a very tough time, you know. I'm assuming, I don't know how many, what folks drive in here, but I'm assuming a lot of you would like a brand new electric vehicle. You know, sometimes you can't even go out and buy one if you have money in your hand. So, you know, we're working on it. We're trying. The nicest thing is that students sometimes don't really care. You get the glowing of a student's face when they can change oil on a 2003 Toyota Camry. Like, oh, I changed oil. Wow. You know, I pulled tires off of this old crappy car. And, you know, I think a lot of times it's myself that's a little bit more upset that I'm not able to kind of push technology and get kids a little bit more familiarized. And then I realized that like getting the kid can change oil in a 2000 something versus a 2020 something, the processes are the same. You know, you're still working the same checks. You're still working the same processes. It's just you're not experienced with push button. You know, I had a student bring his dad's car in. He's like, every time I walk near the door, I touch the handle, the door unlocks. And then he was like blown away by the technology that's 15 years old at this point. So, you know, you try to get those things. You try to have the, you know, hey, we got a 2021 in here. Let's look at this new stuff. And, but a lot of it just comes down for me is just teaching like the basics. You know, if you take a bolt off, the bolt needs to go back on. There's a proper torque value for it. Make sure you're paying attention. Make sure you're kind of following these steps. Make sure you're reading directions. You know, I got a big, these past couple of years, I've been running into a big struggle of like, kids want me to be Google. You know, kids just want this instant answer of things. And I've ran into a ton of trouble with like my industry partners of like, these kids are taking these like giant steps and trying to they're not working these basics and they're not really working that process down. So for me, just breaking down kind of whatever I can for them has been really the key to successes for me, at least.
It sounds like you're doing a great job, and I think the fundamentals, students never really want to focus on the fundamentals. They want to jump straight to the cool stuff.
Yeah,
You're
for
right.
sure.
Fundamentals are what it's all about. We want our cars to stay together. A couple of quick things come to mind that maybe you've thought of, probably you and the team. But what about the state? State has a fleet of cars, and I'm sure they turn those over once in a while.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Yeah,
National Bike or some of these other big companies have fleets, and maybe they would love to make a donation and get the write-off so that you could continue to work on their, you know, get their cars. They would get the added value of saying, oh yeah, we donated to the Career Center, that kind of stuff, you know, leveraging those kind of things.
I know just from previous talks with other instructors and stuff, they have reached out to the state, and what they've ran into with the state is the state makes too much money auctioning them, and it kicks back a lot of that budget for the new vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that has changed recently. I do know that was one thing that was like brought up from previous, where like it takes a lot of like, I mean, you folks know with budgeting stuff, or like it takes a lot of those giant little steps to kind of get that stuff out. But it's definitely something. I write a little notepad down. I'm going to check into some things as suggestions come. I will take anything I can get. Honestly.
So your co-op students are your second year students, correct?
Correct.
So you usually, it's not a 2-year program, but if a kid wants to come back for a second year, he goes to co-op.
Yeah, and it's weird. So I don't run an automotive 2, but technically the 2 co-op students are automotive students.
Right.
It's just it's like a weird, but yeah, technically the second year for me would be the co-op. Yes.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering, Steve, so let's say you have a farmer down the road and he's got this big old tractor. Does he ever come knocking on your, or rumbling down or saying, hey, can you help me out?
So if I could hire someone that could just deal with the phone calls that I get and could just simply be my liaison between customers and me, I could fill and probably, don't hold me to this, I could probably fund an automotive 2 class by just the business that I'm like get asked about. I could probably forward 6 voicemails a day about, I need this, please help. The biggest problem I run into is simply getting customers to kind of understand that I'm only a 4-hour program. And like, I don't want to work on your car. You know, I need the students to do it. So if it takes me 3 times as long to put the part together, take it back apart, hand it to the student to have the student mess it up again, show them again how it's done, take it apart, hand it back to them. Like, I have to take that time for the education portion of it, you know? And what I run into is a lot of, and it's sad for me sometimes, but extremely desperate people that can't really afford a lot of their repairs they need. And they're so desperate for their vehicles that honestly, a lot of times I'm their last resort, you know, and I'm trying to steer stuff away. For me, you know, if I could fill an automotive 2 class, that's probably a majority of what they'd be doing, very similar to like the cosmetology model, where a lot of that second year is that just business stuff. It's just tough. It's just, and you know, it's sad to say, but a lot of times the clientele you're getting doesn't understand. Sometimes, you know, they want to sit in the classroom and wait around with a bunch of teenagers. I can't have you in the building. You know, you're not fingerprinted, you're not securities checked, you can't leave me your vehicle for more than 1 day. You know, you're so desperate for the vehicle that it needs to be done in 2 hours because I have to run here. I've been desperate, and it's just like nationwide. So there's a lot of social media groups. I'm in a lot of groups kind of, you know, nationwide with automotive instructors that it's nationwide where all this help is needed. And it's just not feasible a lot of times with customer expectations. Thank you though. I mean, these are all, and I wish, like, there's a lot of times I wish that, like, I would love to take your car in, but sometimes the amount of time just to explain to the kid what is needed to do it, my day's over, you know, and then your car's locked up for the rest of the day, and then it's tomorrow, and then it's the next day and the next day.
Okay.
So.
Well, we thank you for your presentation, and we appreciate what you're doing every time we go into the automotive center.
You're welcome
somewhere.
anytime. We love the guests.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
Steve.
Thank you, folks.
All right, moving forward, committee reports. Facilities, do you need to report?
Would you like for me to recap the last hour and a half?
All right,
Madam Chair, I do have a comment.
sure.
Believe it or not. So I think you had a booklet of quotes,
Yes,
And my favorite quote this week, as I'm delivering my lawn sign, getting permission, like I was told, was the guy over next to me goes, man, finally something I can vote yes on.
Oh, good. Well, we hope there'll be a lot of yes votes. Program quality,
We're meeting on Monday.
all righty. Superintendent's report. Anything, Jody?
Yeah, so you see, in the report that I shared, I put a lot of photos in. There was a lot of collaboration across programs in the last few weeks. It's just been great to see. And our exploratory kiddos are getting out into every program, just about. It feels like they've been to so many already. And I guess it is October. But it's been great to watch those and to see them working together. We had some different industry representatives coming in for different reasons, especially across plumbing. We had VHV did a training in the safety component for all of our heavies really that we're interested in the construction trades. Most of our programs have finished their work keys. There's just 2 left because they were finishing up their safety trainings that are required. And we have seen an increase in our scores to the positive. So that's great. And it'll be good to bring that data to our comprehensive local needs assessment team, which has met once and meets again. We're going to meet the 3rd Monday of every month. So we'll meet on the 20th. We had the District 6, District 8 EMS signing for the adult ed, which has been great to partner. And we're starting to explore what does that look like and build out those schedules for the trainings. It's a little bit of a transition year for that. So some of the trainings were already scheduled and they're happening at Norwich University, for example. So we're slowly going to transition those pieces over to us. But we will be the ones who are the paying the people. So we're the employers
On record.
of record for them. So that's exciting. I spent last Saturday morning from 9 to noon at the transfer station in Montpelier and got to talk to a lot of people. And a few of them said, what are you doing here? And I said, well, we've had forums and tonight is the exception, of course, but there aren't always a lot of people who show up at forums and maybe they don't have access, maybe they don't know, but people are here. So I'm coming here. And a few people were appreciative of that. One person had been watching slowly the interview I did for Orca with Richard, yes. And so he was like, I think I'm halfway through it. It's kind of a long interview. Can I just ask you my questions? And I said, sure. So I'm going to do that at the Waitsfield Transfer Station this coming Saturday from 9 to noon. I'm at the Washington Central Community meeting tomorrow night at East Montpelier. WCAX has scheduled an interview tomorrow. So I think Nick actually sent me something today that they might have kind of teased it today. And they're going to do some, yeah. And Twinfield board meeting on the 14th, full moon, who sleeps on a full moon?
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So there's lots of opportunities and we're going to keep building on that. Hopefully you all got to see the really fun fly through video that was released on social media as well. We have 2 of our former DMA 2 students, Gino and Ty, have done a video. They've come in and done some raw footage last year. And so they came in and sat for interviews this year and then they edited it and put it together. And that's the next video coming out. And our current digital media arts 2 students are now working on filming some ads for us. So it's really exciting to see all of the in-house, just amazing folks we have that are contributing to this. Anna and Kelly in the front office have been creating some of the ads that you're seeing in the newspapers and online and social media. They've done a phenomenal job. Carlos.
Steve Pappas is our hero.
Yes, wonderful op-ed. Carlos Diaz, our videography teacher, has done a lot. You'll hear voices on the radio. That's myself, Lauren Clark, our new cosmetology teacher, and Jeremy Vaughn, our digital media arts graphic design teacher. So those voices you'll be hearing. So it's just really exciting to have like all hands on deck moving this forward.
It is. It really is a supportive community and we really appreciate that. That really is. And I hope the folks out in the world appreciate what we have here for an educational community. It really is solid and it's the best opportunity for our students because our teachers and our staff really bring a lot to it.
So Jody, when you're at the transfer station, do you like wait in line for the cars to come to you?
So I actually had this beautiful riverside spot. So
Okay.
it was off to the side and I just set up a table and people walked by me I was closest to the trash thing. And
Okay.
so they walked by me to throw their trash in and so some of them ignored me, which was fine. And some of them came over and asked what I was doing or came and looked at the table and some of them gave me the, big thumbs up. I'm going to vote yes. And so it was a wide range of reactions and I just was hanging out and I brought donuts for the guys that work there and they appreciated that. So
No, it's really funny because I did the same thing when I was trying to get signatures for us to be put on the ballot for, what is it? Voting day or whatever,
yeah,
for us to be considered for, a donation to, the American Legion. So I went from car to car. And of course it was like -20 that day too. So like,
it was beautifully sunny that day. It was
Yeah.
really nice.
I was so cold. I thought I was going to flick off my fingers.
Ooh.
I'm glad you didn't.
All right. Janet, did you have a question?
No, because I just moved on in my little brain.
Oh,
so-
okay, all righty, that's all right. So, Jody, you're done?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Michelle, you're on. Business
Uh,
managers report.
Sure, I'll be quick. Let's see. We're not in a negotiation year, so I'm hoping to get a rough draft of our first draft of our budget done within the next week or two. Reminder, we only have 2 more board meetings. We have a November board meeting and a December board meeting where we have to go through the budget, finalize the budget, go through it again and again and again and again before we announce our tuition. So be thinking about maybe needing that extra meeting end of November, mid-December, something like that. Anticipating a double-digit increase in health benefit premiums. Everybody saw that coming. It's been like that for years, a few years, at least the past few. Dental rates remain flat. They haven't increased in years, so I was actually anticipating a rate increase, but from what I'm hearing, there's not going to be anything. We do have open enrollment coming up the end of October. That works out for me really well because then I can anticipate benefits for next year, where to go from there. FY25 audits underway. I shared with you an op-ed that I wrote and submitted to both VT Digger and the Times Argus. Also, I shared the letter of support from, okay, I want to correct myself, it wasn't necessarily a letter of support, but it was a way that Jake Feldman, he's a senior fiscal analyst at the Vermont Department of Taxes, helped me work through our tax impacts. So I shared that information with you.
You articulated that really well too.
Yeah, he's really great. He was such a great resource. He comes to our monthly meetings in Basbo on occasion. That's the business managers, and just walks us through kind of everything.
That's
And
great.
and he's
Love
just
him.
a
Yeah.
great resource. He really is. I shared our current ledger. Nothing's surprising me there. Let's see, future financial update. I already skipped this, but I told you the first draft is coming. There are a few things that I do anticipate thinking about next year's budget is some facility upgrades that need to be addressed in building trades, shop area, ventilation area. Not noted on here, but Steve did make a comment. We have talked in past years of needing to purchasing newer cars. Any ideas would be welcome, but we will need to anticipate that in our next year's budget and budgets moving forward of how we can get some updated technology in there.
All right, thank you. All right, up to the items in item 7, the exposure management plan. Is there any difference in that than
Not
we have
since the
seen?
last time, we had just updated the every 2 years that we're reviewing it instead of every one. We just want to do that second reading and accept that.
Okay.
And we basically want to do that with all of the policies that follow the recommended policies. as
That was
well.
my question.
Yeah.
Should these all be taken as a slate 7.2.1 through 7.2.9? They've all been read and reviewed by the Vermont School Boards Association
And actually, most of these updated policies came through Pietro Lynn to the Vermont School Boards Association.
They did such a good job.
so let's do 7.1 separately, the exposure management plan, and then take all of 7.2 as a slate. So I need a motion to accept the exposure management plan update for a second reading. Moved by Lyman. I need a second. Second. We get, any further discussion on those? No. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes. And now a motion to approve 7.2 as a slate.
So moved.
All right, Patrick, second by Jana. Any further discussion on any of those items? All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposition? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries. All right, now the board handbook. What can we learn about the board handbook?
Basically, every year I try to update it and make sure it's accurate for all of you. So I just wanted to include it in here. And one of the changes is that the VSBA, can I grab these? Sent to us some new documents around executive session, Robert's Rules Simplified, open meeting laws. And so I took out the really difficult to read table that was in there and tried to scan these in its place. So that's a new piece, Appendix B. And then we just need to make sure that we have accurate information as far as how to contact you. And for anyone who has not yet completed the survey from Spark, which is Shannon and Matthew from our retreat, there was only 4 people had finished that. If you could do that, I know Shannon was gonna email again this week. I don't know if she's done so already.
Did they fix, there was one part that was missing, opportunities, I think, or one of them was
Yeah.
missing.
I don't know if they fixed it in the thing, but it was like the one thing that they got back to me on, and I addressed it and sent it back.
Oh,
to them. I mean, that's how they were managing it, but I don't know what they're doing now.
All right, we need a motion to approve the board handbook as written. Anyone?
Well, wait a second, I
Yes.
just want to make sure, did you edit? If we're gonna accept the handbook, because I remember the last time it said that we had 2
I
campuses.
I
and-
did edit that piece, yep. So I edited that piece where we don't need to accept it
Okay,
this time. Just please reach out to me if you have anything that needs to be shifted in there or if you notice something
Okay.
that edits it. We don't actually officially
Right.
okay.
accept this. It's just something that I try to update every year. So I just wanted to bring it to yours. Program quality, we'll be looking at the district quality standards next week. And that's something we'll be bringing to the full board in November.
Okay. So we'll thank the superintendent for bringing the board handbook to us and know that it exists. All right, future agenda items, which we are continuing our goal setting. We will have our equity team report. When is that coming up? Is that coming up pretty soon?
We'll
isn't it?
probably do that in November as well.
Okay,
And actually, we may be looking at adopting the updated VSBA model policy for equity. So we'll discuss that at our next meeting.
all right.
So does that mean the time has come?
No, almost. We have one more thing to just talk about, a bit of reflection and summary of our meeting, and I think we've done good.
Yeah.
Yes. And,
Yeah, if I could just say, it's not always easy to get public comment, it's not all complimentary, and I commend the board for responding when necessary, but doing really well to take those comments.
yes, and we will. So, we'll listen but
You're very polite,
who?
both of you,
Oh.
everyone.
Yes.
I'm the only one sitting here making faces until Jody says, like, look at the screen.
All right. So we run the gamut of responses and expressions, and that's part of being a good team, which I do believe we are. So that's my summary, that we are a good team and we work well together, and we hope that it shows out there in the world. All right, now, Jana, you're on.
Okay, I move that we adjourn.
The second,
I heard it.
Scott. Okay. Thank you, Scott. And we don't discuss, we just adjourn.